I think I've made at least one video on this board, me trying to repair it. Well, I've continued and I haven't videotaped it trying to repair this thing. And you'll see a lot of chips have been socketed and replaced. I got to thinking that there's some corrosion or something underneath one of these, but I haven't found anything, that fixed it. I did find corrosion under some, and I replaced it with a socket and a new part, and it did not fix it. Basically, this is not showing any signs of life now. When I first started working on it, it looked like to me it was trying to run the program, but it wasn't getting very far. So I'm to the point where I'm going to try to write an assembly language program to write a self-test for the RAM and for the I/O or whatever. I want to try to run code that I have control over instead of what the game program is. And if I can get it to do something, flash a light or something, then that's progress. And I know that it at least trying to run the program. Right now it seems dead. I don't have a logic analyzer I can slap on this to see what the progress is. So I'm going to try, like I said, to write an assembly program, burn a new ROM with a RAM test and some other stuff on it, just to see if I can get the board to run anything. I'm still convinced it's a bad trace or corrosion, but I have ohmed out a lot of these traces and they all seem to be correct with the schematic. So I'm stumped. That's why I'm getting to the drastic measure of writing a test program. So anyway, this is introduction to that. I will be recording more as I go. Okay, it's been about 2 weeks since I first recorded that I was going to try to write a test program so that I could try to figure out what was wrong with the board that does not respond. I'm still in the process of writing this. It's been a trial and error effort. The approach I took was I wrote my own Z80 assembler. Okay, I wrote that in Tickle, and I had some bugs with it that prevented me from getting anything to work proper, but I think I've got all the bugs worked out finally. And now I think that might be an assembly problem, or maybe there's still problems with the compiler, but as far as I can tell, everything's correct. It should be fine. When I say compiler, I mean assembler. So I'm writing raw Z80 assembly language for a RAM test. And what I'm doing is I'm testing the sound port, which is right here. And you'll see I've got a scope hooked up to it. To start with, this port will flash 3 times. All the lines on this will flash 3 times. And then it will commence into a RAM test over 5 patterns. Starts with zeros, then it goes with 0101, then it goes with 1010, then it does all ones, and then it does all zeros again. At the end of that, the lines, if the RAM test passes, the lines on this sound port will flash, will toggle 50 times. All the lines will toggle 50 times, but it will be, one pattern will be 1010, one will be 0101. So the lights will, go back and forth like this 50 times at a rapid rate. It's actually 4 times faster than the port testing at the very beginning. That flashes 3 times. It'll be 3 times. It's like 1, 2, 3, and if the self-test passes, it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be 4 times faster. But it's not working yet. I can show on the scope that things are happening, but it's still not working. It looks like it's resetting for some odd reason. So I kind of think that's going to be a relative address bug or something, and I found some of those in my Tickle assembler, and I thought I had them all, but maybe I missed something. So let me just show you what's going on now. So I've got the scope hooked up on the output port, 1 pin. That's all I really need to see if the program's running. So when I turn it on, it should toggle 3 times, and the signal will go low. And then if you watch the screen, you'll see a bunch of stuff happening. That's it writing the RAM, writing the patterns into the RAM, and then reading it back. So the way the test works is it writes all the memory locations, and then it reads all the memory locations. If the patterns that were written match what were read, then it's a successful test. And after it does all the 5 patterns, like I described earlier, then I should see this thing toggle 50 times. I'm not seeing that. It's not getting that far. It resets before then. So let me turn this on. So 1, 2, 3. Stay low. Okay, it goes low and stays low. Now see how it reset? It restarted the test. I don't know why. I've got to figure that out. So you'll see that it's this there, it's writing to the RAM, okay? When that changing in the video, that's writing to the RAM. So it's writing and reading, writing and reading. I just don't know if it's successful or not. The assembly language initializes the stack pointer to a location in RAM, but it doesn't use it until after the RAM has passed self-test. In other words, I'm doing everything in registers. I'm not doing pushes or reading from, storing things in a RAM and reading it back until after the test for testing the RAM passes. So I don't think it's a stack pointer problem. I don't know what it is. I'll have to really think about it. And this is my first time to do Z80. Now I've done 8080. I've written a self-test similar to this for Space Invaders, or the 8080, and that one went pretty smoothly. That was 25 years ago when I did that. And with that one as well, I wrote a Tickle assembler. I didn't use an available one. That's just part of the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if I could write it, and I did, and it worked great back then. But the Z80 is quite a bit more complicated than the 8080. Although a lot of the features are the same, there's a lot more instructions on that. So anyway, as you can see, that right there looks like it's the beginning of the process, and then it goes up temporarily. The bit on the output goes up temporarily, and then it resets apparently. So something is causing a reset to jump back to address 0, and I've got to figure that out. But yeah, I just wanted to give an update because I haven't talked about this board in a while. And this board here, by the way, is my good board. I'm trying to debug this on the good board. My bad board is down there. I have not tried the test ROM on this yet, but I want to get this one debugged and working on the good board first. But hopefully with it, it will give me some clue as to what's wrong with that, if it's an addressing or data problem or whatever. I don't know if it will or not, but that's the hope. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to share. Now, I've got people that I work with, other programmers, and they sometimes watch this show. If you guys want to see what I did, I'll share with you, but if you do a code review on me, you're not going to be allowed to do that, because this is my code. It's not going to be as nice as what you guys would want for production. I'm just trying to get this test done as quickly as possible. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.